with what ActionSA is doing. I hope future generations or future politicians can learn that you don't have to really be corrupt to advance your political career.
For next year's elections, have you discussed parties that you're willing to work with and those you are not willing to work with?
Going into a coalition is not something that Herman Mashaba designs. The voters are the ones who force us into a coalition arrangement. For us as ActionSA, we are happy to work with any party.
Because are you saying you're willing to work with the DA as well?
Tell me, didn't the DA say they'll never work with the ANC?
But it doesn't mean I can't also hold you accountable for saying the same thing. On ActionSA's side, how far are you in deciding who is a perfect candidate?
Well, as you are aware, first off, in the event we don't find another Nasipi Moya or we don't find another Tolani, I'm willing to step in because Johannesburg is very important. If anyone thinks that ActionSA is threatened by Helen Zille, I think we take Helen Zille actually to be an opportunity for us. I was in Cape Town over the weekend. Let's just go into Khayelitsha, going to Ekurhuleni, going to Langa, going to the Cape Flats. So if this is what we call good governance, I think for us and for me, it's an insult as a black person.
So today we have ActionSA leader Herman Mashaba, who's going to be speaking to us about all things local government as well as, just the dynamics within ActionSA. Ntate Mashaba, thank you for joining us today.
Yes, thank you very much. Always a pleasure talking to you. This is the second time we're involved in this kind of discussion. Always a pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
So, Ntate Mashaba, starting with local government, I know that ActionSA now through the years since 2021 has built a footprint of its own. I want to get an understanding on which municipalities you'll be contesting in for the 2026 local government elections and why you've chosen these strategic municipalities.
Well, what happened is, just to really give you the context, the historical context of ActionSA, when our party was launched on the 29th of August 2020, right in the middle of COVID, we couldn't go and campaign as usual. So we had to do a lot of campaigning through media platforms, social media, and so forth. But we did very well. In fact, I expected to have done much better than that. I think we were affected by IEC making us contest as a logo, and also not really having the ability to go and do house-to-house kind of campaign. But we did very well. I mean, more especially here in Gauteng, where Johannesburg, we became the third biggest political party. But then fast forward to 2024, I think we made a fundamental mistake, and I take responsibility because I listened to my team when I was advising them to say, guys, going national with a party that's only at the time 3.5 years old, in politics, as you can imagine, you have to contest in 258 or 57 municipalities, all the 9 provinces, to put ethical leadership, because politics in South Africa right now, we suffer from trust. There's a huge trust deficit. So we ended up with the wrong people and really overstretched ourselves. So immediately after the 2024 elections last year, we've now taken a conscious decision that we are not going to contest all municipalities. Right now, we've confirmed participation definitely in 30 municipalities. They might reduce, but we've got 30. We said between 30 and 44. So we put them in 3 categories. First category is the 30, where we are saying, these ones we are going to contest. For an example, City of Johannesburg, Ekurhuleni, Tshwane, Queenin, because we've got presence there already. We've got now presence in municipalities in the Northwest. Those are municipalities who are now category A, where we're going to contest. There are roughly 30 of them. And then the others, we've given them a chance where we've given them KPIs that 6 months before the elections, in the event they meet our KPIs, then we'll contest those municipalities. Why such a decision? Because we've identified a huge opportunity where we want to ensure that municipalities where we contest, government cannot be formed without us. South Africa has entered the era of coalitions, and I think it's important for ActionSA to be part of these governments, because we're the party that cannot be corrupted. We're a party that is decisive. When we do a thing, we do it. When we don't do it, we don't. So I think that's really what informed our decision around the upcoming local government elections. But I think I'd like to really share this with you regarding the three metros in Gauteng: Johannesburg, Tshwane, and Ekurhuleni. These ones, we actually don't want to just be in government. We want to be the one leading this government in these three municipalities, so that the GNU can, the so-called GNU, they can keep the GNU, run the politics. As ActionSA, we can run the economy of South Africa.
Can I ask, so you speak about campaigning in the Northwest. I think maybe that is based on Forum for Service Delivery, amalgamating with ActionSA. Are we expecting to see a big presence from ActionSA in terms of campaigning there?
Absolutely.
And how many municipalities are you going to campaign
Absolutely. In? I think in the Northwest, if I'm not wrong, on top of my head, must be 7 or 8. Rustenburg, as an example. We're going to contest Rustenburg. We're going to contest the Mafeking and so forth. So that's about 7 or 8, if I'm somewhere around that area. Obviously, my main focus, Dr. Kekana, who's now the deputy president of our party, is focused on Northwest, because that's where we have the presence. When we took over Forum for Service Delivery in the Northwest alone, they had 22 councillors. And now we've got 23. Remember, I think about 5-6 weeks ago, we took over a ward from the ANC for the first time in 31 years. So we've got 23 councillors in the Northwest without going through a by-election. We only went through one by-election. Show me any political party that has acquired so many councillors without going through a by-election. I think it's something historic, it's something to really be celebrated. And we are going to give as much support as possible to these municipalities in the Northwest where we're going to contest. And there's also a few municipalities in Limpopo, like the Capricorn Polokwane municipality. We are going to contest. We're going to contest Collins Chabane in the Venda area and so forth. So we've identified strategic municipalities. We are not going to be all over the show, because we're going to make sure that we make our end to actually deliver results.
Yeah.
Well, one thing that it's in my DNA. I operate on a basis of delivery. Don't tell me you're a hard worker, but I can't see the results. So if you tell me you're a hard worker, you're in sales, I want to see the numbers. And the very same thing applies to politics. When we deploy public reps into office, they have the responsibility to serve society, not serve themselves. It's not about you getting a salary. It's about making sure that you attend to issues of the community. And the only way you can attend to issues of the community, that means you've got to have activists around you and so forth. So we gave them uniform KPIs. Last year, September, at the time when we gave them these KPIs, we said, the province said, by end of May this year, if you don't deliver, I'm afraid we're going to be removing you and bringing people from outside. Before the end of May, PEC in Gauteng said, let's give them another month to June. June came, they says, let's move it to July. July came, August. So after that, I then put my foot down. I said to our provincial structures, I said, no, guys, we're not really playing games. End of September is the deadline. Fortunate enough, everyone had signed their performance agreement. all of them were remanded on a monthly basis. It's not something that was treated unfairly. It is for that reason all of them they tried to really go to court through their cases out. Because I think we were running in a transparent manner. And I've always actually said to the media, rather blame me for holding public reps accountable than what we've experienced, why our political system is collapsing, why people have lost confidence in politics, because political parties let people get away with what I call murder. Unfortunately, in ActionSA, that is not going to be the case. It's not going to be business as usual. When we deploy you to go and work for society and you are being paid by society, we are going to hold you accountable.
Okay, let's go into Gauteng, right? I know that so far you have a mayoral candidate in Ekurhuleni, Xolani Khumalo, and then there are obviously rumors around what's going to happen in Johannesburg. We know that the DA has come out with the biggest gun that they have, which is Helen Zille. And I think every political party now is thinking about who their candidate could be. Someone definitely who has as much experience and popularity, perhaps. On ActionSA's side, how far are you in deciding who is a perfect candidate?
Well, as you are aware, first of November, we opened applications for interested candidates within the party interested in becoming mayoral candidate. And I'm on public platform to say to South Africa and people of Johannesburg in particular that in the event we don't find another Nasipi Moya or we don't find another Xolani, I'm willing to step in because Johannesburg is very important. But I think let's open our selection and the process to others. A year ago, as an example, a year ago, who knew about Nasipi Moya? No one knew about Nasipi Moya. Today, she's a household name doing really what I call a lot's work. Very committed to Black woman. She makes me so proud. Every day I see her actually out there in the communities, turning the ills of that city around in a year. Something that I remember when I proposed the removal of Celia Brink, even some of my colleagues were nervous. They say, hey, Tswane's finances are in bad shape and so forth. But I said, guys, we all agreed that our slogan as a party is that let's fix South Africa. So let's start with municipalities. Let's go and fix Tshwane and look at what Nasipi has done. But I think if you look at how Tshwane is running right now, you look at the 3 years I was the executive mayor of the city of Johannesburg. So the blueprint for ActionSA, it's already there. And we're going to apply the same principle and blueprint in Ekurhuleni. It is for that reason very, very important, for ActionSA. We're going to work hard to take over the mayorship of these 3 metros and control the economy of this country, get this country's economy to grow, not at 1%, 2%. This country, for us to reverse this sustainable unemployment rate in the world, we need the country to go at 4 or 5%. And I think if these 3 metros can grow at 3, 4, 5%, the entire country is going to benefit. And it can only benefit. We're the only political party that has got a track record of delivering real service. And for us, we're the only political party that actually cares about poor people. We've demonstrated that when I was the mayor. That's what caused the divorce with the DA. That's the reason why we drove my decision to remove Celia Brink, because he was relying on our support but refusing to provide services to Black communities. And I took personal exception to this. And today I'm proud to see the coalition government is not only providing services to Black leaders, providing services to everyone. Now, coming back to the issue of Helen Zille. If anyone thinks that ActionSA is threatened by Helen Zille, I think we take Helen's actually to be an opportunity for us, because her governance, which people are talking about to be the best, for who? Please, I was in Cape Town over the weekend. Please just go into Khayelitsha, go into Gugulethu, go into Langa, go into the Cape Flats. So if this is what we call good governance, I think for us and for me, it's an insult as a black person. And I can actually take you back to the days of apartheid. I was born and raised in Pretoria, the city where we needed to have our pass, our dome passes with us. The Pretoria city, without any doubt, the apartheid government had built modern cities. They built a modern Johannesburg. Was great, but you and I, someone who looked like me, were we allowed? Absolutely not. Yes, because they were only providing services to the few, to a small constituency. Right now, the challenge for us, where I believe and I blame the ANC entirely for this, the ANC has really disgraced us by collapsing what the National Party had done. Because the National Party provided services only to the small white minority. And it's exactly what the DA is doing in Cape Town. That's not going to happen in the city of Johannesburg. There's no way that us as ActionSA, we're going to sit back and allow Helen Zille to come into Johannesburg and make it the most expensive city in the world. And lucky, the voting bloc in Johannesburg is 90% black, and they are aware of Helen Zille's track record of service delivery. Helen's service delivery and the DA, it's actually the report from the Auditor General. You know, when you get a clean audit from the Auditor General, you know what that means? You put in a budget of 10 rands and you spend 10 rands based on what you promised. It's got nothing to do with the impact to society. If one of the things that we as ActionSA, actually we propose to the Auditor General going forward, politicians and municipalities can't really only be receiving a clean audit on the basis of spending 10 rands, but you spend it on few people. What impact are you making to the broader society? And that's something that DA under Helen Zille has failed to do. And Helen Zille, as you are aware, she's the person responsible for collapsing my administration when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, precisely for the fact that I was providing the services to black communities. Says, no, I must cut grass in Sandton instead of providing portable toilets to people of Alexander and Kliptown. And I took this seriously. And when she then deployed Celia Brink to ensure that the mayor of the city of Tshwane must provide services to the suburbs exclusively. And when this matter came to my attention, I said, my goodness, I'm not prepared. I have the power. I'm not serving under the DA. The DA is actually serving at our mercy of our numbers. No ways that we're going to allow her to deprive black communities of public services.
Okay, let's move on to Ekurhuleni, right? With your mayoral candidate now, there's been a lot of criticism about his past and, obviously backlash from not only the public, but criticism from other political parties. What is your response as ActionSA around his candidacy, and how are you going to prove to the public that he is the right man for
Which
the job?
public? You're talking about drug dealers and criminals. Who cares about the drug dealers and criminals? Because those are the people who hate Xolani. And I think it's actually, Xolani must be proud to be hated by criminals. But because the ordinary person in Tembisa, in Davidton, in Springs, they don't just like Xolani, they love him, because Xolani fights criminals and so forth. So the people you're talking about, the criminal elements, in fact, I just want to send them a message to them. They're going to hate him even more when he's the mayor. because he's going to have more legal powers to actually go at them. And we're not going to go at them only in Ekurhuleni. We will obviously control Johannesburg and Tshwane. I'm sure you see our mayor, even yesterday, 2 days ago, you remember what he did? Closed down some illegal, dirty things in the city of Tshwane. And she goes out herself. So you can imagine what Queenin is going to do given the powers to be the mayor. And our mayor in Johannesburg will do the same thing. So I can tell you the criminal elements you're talking about as there are some people. There's 3 metros are going to really be too small for them. They are not welcome.
Ekurhuleni is quite a tough landscape, though, for many political parties. I think that's why the ANC continues to have a mayor in the city of Ekurhuleni. What's your strategy? How are you going to win their hearts over in Ekurhuleni?
So ANC's future in this country can only go down. I mean, there's no way that ANC can really be revived. I mean, that they can go to even the best Inyangas. I don't know where they'll find them. They can never recover after what they did to us over the last 31 years. So yes, we've put forward a very strong candidate with the right heart at public service, and Xolani is that person. So I strongly believe in Xolani. Personally, I'm the one who convinced him. When he came to see me looking for funding for his foundation, I said, Xolani, you know what? You work in an environment of the criminal justice system that's captured. I think the timing was so perfect because it was a few months after the expose by Lieutenant General Nhlanhla. I said, look at how this criminal justice system is captured. You have these criminals working with some of the police, laying charges against you. That's great, you are exposing to South Africans, but you are not going to win. Take advantage. Ekurhuleni, you're a child of Tembisa. That city needs someone like you. And luckily, everything else is history. He's accepted that responsibility. And I'm really confident come the local government election, Xolani is going to be the mayor of the city of Ekurhuleni. Remember in 2016, even when I announced my entry into politics, honestly, the entire media space discourse was that I was the biggest joke to come into politics. When I came in and became the mayor, removed the ANC first time around, and the first few months, ANC did everything possible to collapse my government, but I survived. Running a 7-way coalition arrangement, which Helen Zille ultimately collapsed. I set the bar very high. It is for that reason we performed well in Johannesburg and will continue performing well. That's the reason why Dr. Moya in Nasipi is doing such a great work in Tshwane, because I've already laid the framework and the guidelines on how to really run the municipality. What Nasipi is doing in Tshwane, it's exactly what I did when I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg. In fact, she's taken it to another level because there are certain things I couldn't finish when Helen realized that I'm a cheeky black. So Nasipi, with the support of the ANC and EFF in Tshwane, which we are grateful for their support, she's able to really drive and not only deliver to ActionSA people, we're delivering services to all residents of Tshwane, whether you live in the suburb or you live in the township or you live in the village. So yes, people can expect that the track record of ActionSA in governance, I honestly believe it's unmatched. Well, not that I don't really believe in them. I mean, we have our caucus leader in Parliament, Athol Trollip, who's doing an amazing work. And Athol lived most of his life in a political field. And I strongly believe in him. He's an exceptional human being. So it's not all of them. It's just, unfortunately, majority of our politicians are in politics for the wrong reasons. And to really get the ones that are committed to public service, it's very difficult. Even I think I can give you the practical example of what we went through as ActionSA in the beginning when we ended up actually giving responsibility to these career politicians, and they let us down. And because I don't play, I fired them. And I don't regret. They've really let us down. But I've not given up on others. I think over time, with what ActionSA is doing, I hope future generations, future politicians can learn that you don't have to really be corrupt to advance your political career.
So you briefly spoke about coalition setups, right? The last time ActionSA was so clear in the fact that they would not work with the ANC, but things changed, and you are now working with the ANC in Tshwane. This time around, for next year's elections, have you discussed parties that you're willing to work with and those you are not willing to work with, if it does come to a point where you need to form a coalition at local government level?
I can tell you right now, and I've said this after the 2024 elections, one thing that we've learned, the political dynamics in this country are very fluid. And I think going into a coalition is not something that Herman Mashaba designs. The voters are the ones who force us into a coalition arrangement. As far as ActionSA is concerned, we prefer to really have outright majority. Can we get it? I think South Africa has entered the era of coalitions. So for that reason, I want to declare that for us as ActionSA, we are happy to work with any party after the elections.
What has shifted?
We're not going to...
Are you saying you're willing to work with the DA as well?
Tell me, didn't the DA say they'll never work with the ANC?
But it doesn't mean I can't also hold you accountable for saying the same thing.
Yes, no, that is why I'm saying to you, at the time when we worked with the ANC in Tshwane, after the 2021 local government elections, I'm sure you're aware, I'm on record when the ANC and EFF approached us that we work together in the 3 municipalities. But at the time, I did not trust the ANC. I said, no, I'd rather give my vote to the DA. But what happened? Then I work with the DA. They continue with their racist policies of not wanting to deliver services to people of our country. And what options did I have? Because if you look at the numbers in Tshwane, in the city of Tshwane, you've got the ANC and EFF bloc, and you've got a DA and EFF bloc. None of the two can run without ActionSA's numbers. So we had two choices. Either let the city go under administration, because ANC and EFF in Tshwane can't work with the DA. They can't. The DA tried very hard when ActionSA was calling them to order that we are going to provide services to black townships. So they approached the ANC and EFF and ANC refused to work with them. So the only way we could actually have government in our capital city was for ActionSA to then work with the ANC and EFF. But we made the condition to say, we're happy to work with you guys on condition that we take over the mayorship so that we can control the narrative and everything that goes in. So that's why today I'm saying to you, the voters, give us, if you don't want us to work with other parties, give us outright majority. However, in the event you don't give us outright majority, we are happy to work with any party. But we've got three very important non-negotiable conditions. The first one, all political parties working with us in a coalition arrangement, services are going to be delivered to all communities. We cannot say we only give the services to the townships or only to the suburbs. We must provide services to all. So let's say, for instance, a party like DA, if they believe their services will only go to the suburbs, then they mustn't come and waste our time. Secondly, political parties that actually believes in these illegal foreigners. If you believe that you don't want illegal foreigners to be sent back to their countries, then don't come and talk to us, because this is for us completely unacceptable. We must be able to deal with this issue of illegal foreigners, because you can imagine when we run the city properly, we're going to invite a lot of our own people coming from the villages and the farming areas coming into the city. Those are the people we are prepared to serve, not someone coming from Pakistan or Nigeria or Zimbabwe. We are saying we must give South Africans first preference. Thirdly and lastly, non-negotiable. As a ActionSA, in the event of us getting involved in corruption, please don't cover for us, expose us. Because if you get involved in corruption working with us, we are going to expose you. So you operate with us with this condition, we are happy to form a coalition with other parties. Those are the three conditions we put in for our front. But who are the parties we're going to work with? You might find in different municipalities we work with different political parties. So the question of not working with the ANC, it's something that's behind us, because the voters have demonstrated to us that, Mashaba, you can have your views, but at the end of the day, we, the voters, are the ones who are going to determine who you're going to coalition with. Here at Tshwane, we're dealing with illegal foreigners. Yeah. All three parties, every night, EFF, ANC, us, and other parties working with us, we're getting rid of illegal foreigners. We've made it clear in terms of giving trading licenses to illegal foreigners in the city of Tshwane. You'll never get the trading license if you're an illegal foreigner. And we governed with the EFF and ANC. What I actually find really very interesting about the EFF, their public utterances, it's one thing. I can tell you, of all the political parties I've had the privilege and the opportunity to work with, EFF are the most constructive. The most constructive, by far, by miles. Because I think the approach to governance, it's actually, honestly, for me, I look at all the other parties. I've worked with other political parties, including leading the DA administration when I was the mayor. Remember, when I was the mayor in the 3 years, I fired 3 DA MMCs for corruption against the party not being happy with me. That's one of the reasons they were not happy with me. In the 3 years I was the mayor of the city of Johannesburg, not a single time in the 3 years engaging with the EFF have ever come to me with to talk about tenders or anything like that. Nothing. But I can't say the same thing about the DA. A senior DA member, it's in the books, came to my house. I shared the name and everything during the press conference on the day I was resigning, 21st of October 2019. Senior member of the DA coming to my house, wanting connections with public, the MMC of Public Safety and Chief of Staff of the police, wanting an introduction. And I said, life doesn't work like that. I take this to really be an insult. But EFF, we've worked with them in Tshwane now, it's over a year. I don't remember Nasipi coming to us, and Nasipi, very strict woman. Never come back to us to say, colleagues, I've got a problem of corruption, because we've made it clear to her, you'll never entertain anyone involved in corruption. Other matters, we are happy to engage. But these 3 matters of corruption, illegal foreigners, and provision of public services to all of us, the 3 big parties in the city of Tshwane, we're in sync. So we tried the DA, even when they relied on our support, they still continued with their corruption. Remember in 2020, was it 2021 or so, when they presented a report, unsolicited bid, 26 billion rands, wanting to give multiple substations to their own the preferred bidder. And as Section SA, we said to them, forget about getting our support. And with their arrogance, then went to go and speak to the EFF and ANC and proceeded to bring that report to council. And we made sure that the ANC and EFF can understand that what DA is doing is corrupt, it's illegal, it's unconstitutional. They voted against that report. So, and continued refusing to give services to poor communities. So it might even be more difficult to work with the DA than others. But obviously their leadership might change because there are lots of good people within the DA. It's not everyone in the DA who's bad. Majority of the people in the DA that I've worked with are good people. They were concerned about their leadership and what they were doing. So yeah, we'll work with any party, as I say, whether it's going to be MK, it's going to be PAC, it's going to be the Freedom Front Plus, as long as they subscribe to these three conditions. And we're not prepared to talk to anyone before the elections. Oh. We will only talk to political parties only and strictly after the results are announced by the IEC.
Okay. And then, so I want to move on to the party dynamics in ActionSA. Since you formed the party, there has been no elective conference, particularly to elect new leadership. I know you had a policy conference, which I attended. Where's the party in terms of having a conference to elect leadership?
I think, Queenin, for you as the media and journalist, it's important when you ask such a question to first have a look at our interim constitution. Because if you've not read our interim constitution, it's going to be very difficult for you to understand, because this is not an academic thing. This is a constitutional matter. ActionSA has got an interim constitution. Please have a look at that interim constitution, what we say about elective conference.
So can you explain it to me? What you say about elective conference? Because we are at this point.
Please visit our website even now when I leave here. Go and look at our conditions of having an elective conference. We said, guys, we need to have strong structures, at least 70% of the structures on a national level, because you can't just start a political party and tomorrow you have an elective conference when you don't have structures on the ground. I don't have enough Mashaba clan to call an elective conference. An elective conference has got to be a true representative of the country.
And you just don't feel that the party is at that point yet? Is that why you haven't had the elective conference? Because you speak about the 70% representation.
The representation, yes. And we're very far from that.
How far are you?
I'm sure you follow our structures immediately after the last year's election, when we discovered some of the branches were not credible branches, so we dissolved them. But if you look at ActionSA this year, please go in to look at how fast we're growing. We are the fastest growing party in terms of launching of branches. And also our constitution says we can't have elective conference a year before the next election. As I said earlier on about talking about people hating, being uncomfortable with Kolani. Yes. I think for us as ActionSA, our members fully in support of our constitution. That's why they are our members. Yes. So if we are going to be hated by people outside whose agenda we don't know, we are happy to live with that. So because people who are pushing us for for our conference, we always ask them, where's your membership? Because if you're a member, you've got a right to question through the normal process. Always find people who are asking us to have an elective conference are not our members. And then we ask, but what is your agenda? Why do you want us to follow your agenda? Where were you when ActionSA was formed? Where are you every day when we debate our challenges and our opportunities? So why then all of a sudden you want to take over our agenda?
When the time comes, if you reach that 70% threshold.
But I think if people expect me to cross the bridge before I get to it, it's impossible to answer this. People ask me to jump a bridge before even having sight of that bridge, asking me, am I going to cross? I can only cross the bridge when I get to it.
Sure.
I'll only cross the bridge when I get to it. Right now, I don't even have sight of the bridge that you are talking about.
Okay, so even if it takes another 5 years for ActionSA to build the membership that's required, are you guys going to wait it out? So
Well, but that's ActionSA members. So we ActionSA, we are controlled by our members. We are not controlled by people whose agenda we don't understand and we don't know. So I think I want to make that really very clear that if you want ActionSA to have an elective conference, please join ActionSA and go and launch branches. Show me your branches. So that's what I'm saying. Is if you want us and expect us to launch to have elective conference, because we want to have elective conference. Now, as a member, please show us your branches. Show us your branches.
Okay. I think we're going to conclude the interview now. We've spent a lot of time, more than expected. Tata Mashaba explaining to us that he will not have a conference on anyone else's term. And Tata Mashaba, thank you so much for your time. It was lovely speaking to you.
No, thank you so much for the opportunity.